what we need but cannot be taught. Welcome to the channel, you all. Thank you for showing up today, and I appreciate you.
What all musicians need but cannot be taught. I think it's some of the things that we definitely need but we cannot be taught are like things like fortitude, We need to be willing to go at it alone, you know what I mean? Because we're not always guaranteed to have a crowd. We're not always guaranteed to be, on the upstroke, on the top of things, riding the waves. Sometimes, things are not going the best. And I think if you can know that you can go at it alone, you can inevitably be able to, trust the direction in which you're going, you know what I mean? Because you have that fortitude in, the direction of your inevitable passion. I also think that, that leads me to passion is that, I think you definitely got to have a passion for this thing, you know what I mean? Have or develop a love, for said or whichever particular craft, you know what I mean? It is something that, you have to have in order to continue to go on in this thing, I believe, and I don't believe these are things that are inherently taught. It's within oneself, like for example, life experiences, they're so invaluable that they allow you to have that direction and it allows you to really put to be able to take life and put it back into the music, you know what I mean? Like that's what's so precious about life experiences is that you have the opportunity to sow into it from what you've gone through and what you've learned. Also think that story is just inexplicably important, because it's the tool that we apply to every art medium and what ultimately threads all of us together, all the pieces together, us together as a species. It's all tied up in story. So I just feel like, all of those different types of things will, they'll help you to become a way better musician and creator, than, minus any of those things, because, all of those things together, they coincide and they actually leverage one another, you know what I mean? And, y'all gotta forgive me, the audio kind of got messed up in this clip, so, that's why, the words aren't necessarily matching up with the talk, but, I believe that, it's kind of like when people talk about the soft skills. Those soft skills are the things that are launching individuals, into a more successful career, these days. And I'm not saying that the not basic skills, but the more traditional skills aren't the way, because they're just as valuable. But being able to treat people, being able to take great care of a community and treat them as if they were your own, because that's what you're generating is your own, building your own relationships, connecting one another to each other, with beauty and with kindness and with joy and gratitude. Those are the things that that help you, you know what I mean? You can't predict when you're gonna get a nice, kind person going through the drive-through, so you can't tell me that, I'm not gonna say you can't tell me, but it's so valuable to be able to put these soft skills together in order to make yourself an amazing musician. And I believe that with those things in place, all of the other things are important, but I do think that the treatment of individuals, humans with fortitude, passion, life experiences, and stories probably the most important. Yeah. The simple habit to save my failing music career. Super interesting concept, super interesting idea. I think one of the main things that truly saved my career, my music career, was basically doing things my way. You know what I mean? I listened, and I really did spend precious time taking advice from people that were not me. And you might wonder or ask what I mean by taking advice from people that weren't me. I mean, just, nobody can advise you or guide you in the way that you can guide and critique yourself. You know what I mean? A lot of times, I know you've probably heard the phrase, that, you know best, or, the person knows best, or, you would know best kind of thing. And it's the truth, man. Sometimes we're just afraid to slow down and think about the fact that, our own particular thoughts and ideas regarding a thought or idea will probably be, our best bet, you know what I mean? But we go so much outside looking for answers inside, which are matters of the spirit, mind, and heart, in our own bodies, and we know what to do most of the time. But I don't know if we're looking for some sense of like security or some companionship. I mean, it could be a combination of all of those things, but I've definitely thought about those things to myself and realized that, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? I don't have to keep looking outside for answers inside. Also, and I even tried what worked for these other people, that I asked advice from sometimes, and it was just not vaguely, but just definitely hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Because, how are you gonna take advice that worked for someone else, a completely different person, for yourself? I'm not saying that you can't kind of use the rubric or the outline or the formula that somebody else uses, but you're gonna have to tweak everything that comes out of somebody else's mouth so that it actually addresses your needs and your concerns specifically. You know what I'm saying? Do things that resonate deeply to your individual identity specifically. You know what I'm saying? I know myself personally, I'm a person that's, when it comes to music, I'm a super fan and a lover of brass instruments, synthesizers, fashion, bold fashion, and old school cars. Like, these are things that I truly like and enjoy these things. I think that, while some of those things could potentially, based upon popular opinion or so, kind of go out of style or not, those things that make you who you are and individualism within those entities, those are the things that, never go out of style. You know what I mean? Your personality, your individuality will never go out of style. So, just love and embody what it is that makes you who you are. Let it be a part. Fall in love with it. You know what I mean? Like, enjoy all of the quirks about yourself that make you, who you are, because, we're special individuals, but, I think it's smart and wise, for us to really dig in and figure out what it is that we really are into. Like, let's go with it. Let's commit to it, and let's go down the journey deep enough to actually discover all of the treasures and the valuable entities that make us who we are, because they're there. They're in there. They're inside of each one of us, each and every one of us. So I was watching also this film. A very famous musician, guitarist, singer, songwriter. He did a
did a video, a film about the 10,000 hour rule, and we've all seen, heard, and looked at different books and different authors have written many different literary works covering the 10,000 hour rule. It obviously you probably know about the 10,000 hour rule, but if you don't, it's just simply obviously the idea that you'll reach some sense of mastery after having worked 10,000 hours live. You put forth 10,000 hours towards your body of work, and it's something that a lot of people swear by, a lot of people go by, a lot of people think that this is the way that you achieve your personal mastery. And I wish I could remember the author who wrote the book about the 10,000 hour rule. I don't remember it at the moment. Charged it to my mind and not my heart, of course. And but it's this concept I've thought about time to time. And back when I was trying to do a great job, I was always thinking about whether I was getting my 10,000 hours, excuse me, whether or not I was actually approaching that sense of mastery. And I can't say that I've ever felt like actually adding numbers up in that kind of way. I can't even imagine how I would go about doing so. Some people break it down to years and months and minutes and so on and so forth. But, that's something that I never really could imagine myself doing. But artists, there's plenty of artists that say that you can do that, and they say that they actually do that. But, hey, what can I say? I actually disagree with the 10,000 hour rule, because I don't think that, if I'm being honest with you, I don't actually think that thinking about labor is the best way to go about, getting and reaching your best work. I think that we should all just kind of endeavor to just pick a lifestyle and just go by that lifestyle in order to find our best work, because I don't understand. First of all, I don't understand how you could be counting 10,000 units of anything. I can't. In my mind, I don't see how you can connect creativity with endless mathematics. I think that the way that you get to that place where you're trying to get with your work is by simply just deciding a lifestyle, form those patterns, form those habits, and then just go about that direction. And the interesting thing about going in that direction is sometimes you reach and you acquire peaks. Sometimes you reach troves, valleys. And I think that as you're going through those things, you get an opportunity, like I said before, to build those habits. And as you're building those habits, all of a sudden along the journey, you find yourself building up like this repertoire of amazing things that you want to do. I mean, some call them hobbies, others call them a lifestyle. Other people look up and find themselves extremely successful because they pattern all of these different sequences of habits, and next thing you know, they found their best work, and they've also found themselves unconsciously reaching their 10,000 hours. So, a favorite singer-songwriter of a friend of mine really goes by the 10,000 hours. But I don't really think that that's the way that we should go about it. Two traits that I believe that you also need in order to become a top musician. Well, first of all, I think a natural and a healthy love and appreciation is another. Will be, let's just say that's pretty much like a bonus that I'll give. It's something that I think about often, because I think that as we have a natural and a healthy love or a natural appreciation, I think that once we get an opportunity to actually grow and be that artist that we actually want to be, we don't let our pride just get out of whack, and we don't treat people in a way that they don't deserve to be treated. And I think that that's a very important kind of a bonus trait, something that I think about, something that I try to make sure that I move with and terms of my consciousness when I'm trying to not only be a great musician, but I think that most people like to think about skill sets and abilities when they're talking about becoming a great musician or a great creative individual. And I think that it's a lot of those things that catapult you to a major success are soft skills. A lot of times people think that those are things that, you know, you need to know more scales and so on and so forth. But I think that also, another one would be like community responsibility for help, uplifting of creatives. That's a thing that my buddy Darius Howard would call safe space. You know what I'm saying? Because we can treat each other in a great way. We can also encourage each other in an awesome way as well. And I think that if we're encouraging and uplifting one another, then that gives us an opportunity to, like I said before, not build a community that's somewhat based upon pride. The Bible says that pride comes before the fall. And I don't think anybody wants to build up some beautiful community, some beautiful lifestyle based upon all of these different habits, they built by, like I said, somewhat ignoring the 10,000 hour rule, but forming, maybe a list of habits and building those habits together so that you can become one that's practicing and living out an actual lifestyle instead of like a to-do list of things, while you're counting out hours, so on and so forth. But I also think that an awareness for the constant removal of self-pride is, probably the last trait that I would actually say. I know I somewhat alluded to that before, but I think that I think that no matter the contribution, we never deserve anyone's attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not one thing that you can do at a great level, that will ever constitute you requiring or me believing that, I'm great enough or I'm good enough to deserve, what it is that your invaluable characteristic or attribute or unit of measurement, which is your time. You know what I'm saying? I think, it's always something that we should respect, and I think that we should just at all costs try to protect by respect and just, man, like, I think the more that I think about these things, it's almost like, you can just be a great person. You just practice trying to be a great individual. Then if you apply those things and you apply great values to being a great artist and a great creative, then, you will amass, I can't say that you'll amass an amazing success and that you'll be amazingly great, but I think that we almost can say those things, because if you build great friendships and harness great relationships, then whatever creative endeavor or business endeavor, financial endeavor, whatever type of workflow that you go towards in your lifestyle, it'll be successful, because if you treat people great, then greatness and goodness will follow you. So in the next section, I'm gonna talk briefly about some really cool advice from a major artist for aspiring artists as well, and just some kind of points, some takeaways, and some my philosophical way of honestly kind of perceiving the way I receive this message. So
I think during this film, one of my maybe unintentional, but rather intentional focuses has been, obviously, how can we get better? How can we become, the best artist that we can potentially become? But I think one thing that we don't let ourselves do that doesn't have anything to do with the scales or your music theory or whatever. It's just like allowing yourself to do and explore the unexpected. You know what I mean? Like think about all of the things that happened that were outside of the plan, and you didn't expect these things to happen, but they inevitably came to pass. There's something that you can, those things are something that you can look back on and say, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, I did that, like, don't make the path easy on yourself, challenge yourself, but allow it to be a thing that, is somewhat like a gift that keeps on giving. And that's what artistry can be to us. It can truly and indefinitely be something that allows us to serve at our highest level. I mean, because think about it, you know what I mean? Like the ability to take ideas and turn them into beautiful things is a beautiful gesture, a beautiful gift, a beautiful blessing. Some people might not get the opportunity to, work with. I mean, we all have that within ourselves, but we don't all endeavor to work with those tools. And I think that we can change the way we look at things. We can see things differently with our eyes. You know what I mean? We can reflect into the world a loving kindness, a cherishing mindfulness, a jovial disposition that can help us do everything that it is that we want to do with music or creativity as it is to speak, because I think, what better gesture than to be who we are through our music, you know what I mean? Because we can music all day, creativity all day until we're blue in the face, you know what I'm saying? But like the honest to God truth is like I think it's just it's a joy to become a better individual, a more present individual, a more receptive individual, someone that, will allow themselves to stretch and open their mind beyond the regular trajectory that most people might be looking at things. And I think that, we'll have a beautiful opportunity to open our minds, when we open our minds, obviously, right? One funny kind of analogy that I give oftentimes, and it's no disrespect to Big Boy, but it's a play on on his name, you know what I mean? Because it's like my thing has always been that like all men from Atlanta either grow into an Andre 3000 or they remain a big boy. You know what I mean? And that's just a non-disrespectful way of saying that like we can embrace and embody all the things that we know, or we can expand our horizon and try to stretch outside the box, which is a big analogy for the entire vernacular of what outcast as a phrase or even as a group would kind of stand for, is like changing the norm, changing the perspective. You know what I mean? If you look at things in this straightforward kind of way, maybe you can endeavor to look at things from a bird's eye view on a top down type of situation. You know what I mean? Maybe we can plan things a little bit more, be a little bit more mindful and stretch and go outside the box. I know one thing that was one of my goals was to not only create films for a planet such as this, excuse me, but to try to bring, movie-like characteristics and movie-like qualities, cinematic-like qualities, if you will, to some people's so-called everyday, just film watching. A lot of times people, get into this art form and they start to call it content, but I never wanted to ever use that word because I feel like it's got a value. But I think the value of content versus the value of the vernacular that we might express for the word film is a drastically different value. So that's something that, I just try to govern myself accordingly when it comes to the way we look at art. How do you look at things? How much are you opening your horizons? Are you allowing yourself to improvise and walk the thin line between, am I making a mistake or am I just embracing that mistake? I think a musician or creative individual's quote unquote mistake only becomes a mistake when they don't take further action. Love what you do what you love, feel what you do, and be honest about it. I think the truthful, honest way to become the best musician, the best creative person possible is through transparency and honesty, because with transparency and honesty, you can develop real, genuine, and authentic relationships, because if we don't know who we're dealing with, then what are we actually dealing? I think we're dealing in lies. We're not dealing in transparency, we're not dealing in honesty. You know what I mean? Like, who are you getting to know? Are you getting to know me, the artist? Are you getting to know me, the representative that I send before me? simply and softly stated, just let's stop just being so thirsty. You know what I mean? I used to feel because I was working hard, think that things should be good for me. Simply and softly stated, stop being thirsty, number one. I used to really feel because I was working hard that things should be good for me. I should be successful. Things shouldn't, go wrong because I worked so hard. Things should go in my favor. And I learned that was just pretentiousness at its finest. However, it is a sign of maturity to do things in a superior fashion and ask for nothing in return for it. You know what I mean? That's the meaning of becoming, as opposed to what the people say. Therefore, I am. Why real artists struggle, especially on social media? I mean, you struggle. I think a lot of artists struggle on social media because it's actually pretty lonely. Well, why? I think actually because it's basically just highly introspective work that we do. We do this work that it asks of you to reach down into the deepest, most depths of yourself and pretty much give that to the world, from a place that is normally pretty secretive, you know what I mean? But then all of a sudden you're asked to put all of this out into the public, and I think that it'd be hard to come from such a quiet place that's not a social place into a world that's thought of as being social media. I think also that there's an emphasis on trends, where artists are often countercultural, going left while everyone's going right. So might as well leave the machine, which is crushing and not nourishing the spirit, right? How to disappear and come back successful. Why would you even want to disappear? I think it's because it's maybe got a little something to do with burnout, things of that nature, but if you do disappear, I guess the question is, how do you come back successful? Well, first, you gotta actually disappear without the fear of FOMO, right? I mean, because we've all been there. We've all wanted to know what's going on the scenes when we're gone. We always wonder, when we're gone, if people actually miss us and so on and so forth. But, what's ultimately important is what's at the end of the road, you know what I mean? Like, what are we actually in all of this for? What is our goal when we're doing what we're doing, know? I mean, do we want to be successful or do we want to be always on the scene at the party? You know what I mean? Like, we got to pick. We got to inevitably choose one, you know what I mean? And I'm not sure how you feel about it, but I think I value, you know, where it is I want to be in my life more than I value, you know, kind of just partying forever kind of thing. You know what I mean? I mean, we'll have time for the party one day, right? I mean, at least I think we will, won't we? We're trying to cook up our own party. We're trying to create our own thing, so we can't be afraid to miss out on a few things along the way so that we can, you know, one day get there and then be able to throw our own party, right? I would say second, we gotta decide a path and don't stray away until we've actually had growth. You know what I mean? I think maybe perhaps too many people stop before they even get to that point. You know what I mean? I know we've all often heard, you know, that so many people stop short of winning their goal. So many people stop and turn around right before they reach the finish line. I know y'all probably seen that example where those guys they're panning for gold and they're swinging those axes or whatever, and one guy's like this side, he's got like this much more to go on the other side of the wall, and the treasure's on the other side of the wall, but he can't see it. And the other guy just keeps on hammering and he makes it, but the other guy grabs his tool and he turns back around, you know. Life without music. I think from my own personal experiences, life without music it's quiet and it's self-evaluating, but you know, at other times it's loud and forcefully silent. It's forcefully quiet in a way that makes you really see what's actually going on, and it helps you to figure out what it is you truly like versus what it is you've been programmed to think that you like. I think music was, you know, listening to it a lot, or I guess I should say life without music, it kind of sometimes made me feel like it was trying to rob you from time of getting to know yourself. You know what I'm saying? I felt like instead of having to hear other people's songs or even listen to my own songs, that I was kind of pressured to listen to myself and listen to what was going on inside, listen to my own spirit, you know what I mean? Listen to God speak to me. And you know, when you've gone without that sense of quietness inside of you, you know, it's a very different thing. You know, it's a peace that surpasses all things. You know what I mean? You know, and when I talk about like from time to time getting to know yourself, I mean like getting to know your parts, your art, your thoughts. You know, the ideas you get without listening to music, they really become your art, you know? And I think that that's the thing that nobody should ever rob themselves of the opportunity, you know, to do. And I know something even more super simple and quiet and more than anything, so many people don't want to do, and it's something common, you know, doesn't even have anything to do with music, so to speak. Well, I guess everything has everything to do with music and creativity, but you know, it's almost like before getting in a relationship, how you should date yourself, go out with yourself, figure out what it is that you like, you know what I'm saying? And find those places where you like to do things and figure out what it is that actually defines your own curiosity and your own passions. You know, that's what going without music did for me. I stopped listening to music. I think it's basically just way too possible to, you know, just become over aware of what's around you in your atmosphere and in your environment. You know what I mean? There's just certain things that I don't technically feel like we have to know about. I don't feel like we have to know about every single thing occurring in the environment. I don't think that we have to know every single song, every new charting top hits, you know what I mean? And I think that those types of things, they take away your own creativity, you know what I mean? Because you're constantly being inundated with more and more information. And I mean, people would say that, you know, this is the age and the technology age, and maybe it is, but, you know, you're a creative entity and a creative being, like, all by yourself. You don't need to know about something else that somebody else has done in order to find your best work, create something. You know, you can be inspired from within through your natural experiences in life. You know what I mean? And I don't think that you have to be aware of it in order to, you know what I'm saying, find it. You know what I mean? I think, honestly, I think you probably listen to too much music. You know what I'm saying? And I would say that because honestly, you know, you need to like not forget what you sound like. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to making, creating, you know, making new things and things of that nature, like what is it that, you know, you define as your style? What is it that you think are the character attributes that make you who you are? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you have to have this particular instrument? Do you have to have this particular art form? Is there something that like you like, something that you love? You know, similar to like when you're making food and different things like that. Like certain people have to have hot sauce on their food. Certain people don't need to have hot sauce on their food and things like that. But there's going to be some certain things that define your style, and I really do think that when you listen to too much doggone music, you don't even know what you like. You know what I'm saying? Because we're so aware of everything that everybody else is doing that we find some kind of way to embody that awareness, that news, that style that other people are doing and that other people are performing. We find a way to be so aware of that sometimes I feel like those things, they latch on in our subconscious mind, and before you know it, you're creating, you know, what they make. It's kind of like when you're walking around all of a sudden and you catch yourself singing a song that you know you don't like. You know what I mean? Like, you know you don't like this song, but it's just stuck in your head. It's stuck in your head because you're so aware of it. You've surrounded yourself around it that now it's literally become a part of you against your own free will and accord. You don't even want to be singing that song, yet you sing that song all the time because it's latched on to you. And how did it latch on to you? It latched on to you because you were listening to it, or you were around somebody that was listening to it. And now you essentially can't get rid of it because guess what? You listen to too much music. But I'm not saying that you do this and that I never have. You know, this isn't a point the finger session or anything like that. And so, yeah. Why does no one live like they're gonna die? I'm not trying to be pessimistic or anything like that, but I just know so many times I talk to people, it seems like they approach life as if we've got some kind of dress rehearsal. You know what I mean? As if we get a second shot, you know? And I'm not sure if we get a second shot or not. Maybe we do get a second shot, but, you know, why not go at it, you know, as if it's our last, or, you know, just put our best foot forward, you know what I mean? You know, all of these moments, all of these records, these stories, these time capsules, I think you grow to want to give a lot, you know, the more older that you grow. I just think I want to live and grow without us having any regret. That's why I keep talking about these particular things, because I really want to, you know, make the most of the moments, give the moments, treasure the moments. Yeah.